Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajananandana Yashodanandana Prajajananandana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Prajajananandana Yashodanandana Prajajananandana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Kantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Go, Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rereading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, The Renunciation of Kapila Muni, Text 17. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. By mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who is characterized by his golden hair, his eyes just like lotus petals, and his lotus feet, which bear the marks of lotus flowers, will uproot the deep-rooted desire for work in this material world. Purport. In this verse, the activities and bodily features of Kapila Muni are very nicely described. The activities of Kapila Muni are forecast herein. He will present the philosophy of Sāṅkhya in such a way that by studying his philosophy, people will be able to uproot the deep-rooted desire for karma, fruitive activities. Everyone in this material world engages in achieving the fruits of his labor. A man tries to be happy by achieving the fruits of his own honest labor, but actually he becomes more and more entangled. One cannot get out of this entanglement unless he has perfect knowledge or devotional service. Those who are trying to get out of the entanglement by speculation are also doing their best, but in the Vedic scriptures we find that if one has taken to the devotional service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness, he can very easily uproot the deep-rooted desire for fruitive activities. Sāṅkhya philosophy will be broadcast by Kapila Muni for that purpose. His bodily features are also described herein. Jnana does not refer to ordinary research work. Jnana entails receiving knowledge from the scriptures through the spiritual master by disciplic succession. In the modern age, there is a tendency to do research by mental speculation and concoction. But the man who speculates forgets that he himself is subject to the 4 defects of nature. He is sure to commit mistakes. His senses are imperfect. He is sure to fall into illusion, and he is cheating. Unless one has perfect knowledge from disciplic succession, he simply puts forth some theories of his own creation. Therefore, he is cheating people. Jnana means knowledge received through disciplic succession from the scriptures, and Vijnana means practical application of such knowledge. Kapila Muni's Sāṅkhya system of philosophy is based on Jnana and Vijnana. Om Gyanti Vedandasya Jnanana Shalakya Chakshamitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swavedantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvyeva patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are excited when we are hearing about the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here we are getting ready for the appearance of Kapila Muni and his teachings of Sāṅkhya philosophy. Sāṅkhya philosophy means to count. So why we need to count? You may wonder. So in the material world, there are 24 elements. So we all know these 5 gross elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Yes. And then 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego. So along with the elements are the sense objects. So for earth, appears fragrance, the sense of smell. Fire, the sense of sight appears. From wind, the sense of touch. From water, the sense of taste. From ether, the sense of hearing. So we got 8 plus 5, we're 13. Then you have the 5 working senses and the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So the 5 working senses are the legs, the hands, the eyes. Sorry. The anus, the genitals, the tongue, and one more. The skin? Yes. No, that's working. Which one's for working?
Ears, nose, tongue.
That's knowledge acquiring.
You mean working senses?
Yeah.
Legs?
Knowledge acquiring is his eyes, ears, the nose, the tongue as well. It's twice. And the skin. So then the working would be the legs, hands, anus,
mouth,
tongue again, and one more. Arms. Okay, there we go. So now we're at 23. And then the last one is the total aggregate of all of them together, the Mahatattva. Then you got 24. So it sounds pretty boring. Why do I have to know this for? So the reason why is that we're attracted to this material world, and the idea is if you know how it's all made up, it's very easy to detach. For example, if you see a Ferrari, very attractive, right? Wow, look at the Ferrari, so cool. Come, and then you start thinking about how you enjoy this Ferrari. I'm gonna drive it. Everyone's gonna look at me, and boom. Hear the sound of the engine. You can imagine yourself driving a Ferrari, right? But if you see the same Ferrari in its different components, like the wheels are here, the doors over there, the engine's over here, the windscreens over here, the steering wheels in another place, you don't feel the same attraction. So in the same way, when we see the combination of all these elements in this world, thinking how we're going to enjoy it, when you remember how it's just made up of these elements, it's very easy to detach. So Kapila Muni is teaching such a philosophy, how to detach from this material world through jnana, knowledge. And obviously the perfection of such knowledge ends in devotional service. This is the perfection of knowledge. Bhanam jamanamante jnanam ampavantate vasudeva samamiti samahatma sudulabha. That after many births and deaths, one who is jnanavam, one who owns the knowledge, that Vasudeva is everything, they consider a great soul. So what's the nature of the great soul? they understand Krishna is the source of all spiritual materials. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti mata bhajante mam buddha bhavam savamrita. Buddha bhava savamrita. Those who are wise, they worship the Lord with all their hearts. So again, you can imagine seeing something that attracts you in this world. Maybe you see someone doing backflips. That always impressed me, I'm sorry. Jagannath Sutta can do backflips. It's very impressive. And when you see someone do back, it's like, wow, how do they do that? Wow, do it again. It's very attractive. It's like, it nearly seems mystic even, how they're supposed to spin like that without breaking their head, But then Krishna says, Purusham Nishu, that I am the ability in man. You may see someone as a very good singer, or someone who's a very good cook. So many things people are good at. All this is all Krishna. He is the ability in man. So in this way, we understand that, wow, imagine if this is just like a part and parcel showing the power of Krishna. Imagine how amazing Krishna is. One time, in the early days, the disciples of Prabhupada were, they joined Dr. Mishra's like farm retreat kind of thing, And because they all live in New York City, they all decided to sleep outside. And Hayagriva saw the beautiful sunset like this, and he started being poetic. He's like, oh, just like a painter, he painted like his brush strokes, making the sunset with beautiful colors. And then Prabhupada says, we are not concerned with the beauty of the painting. Or the beauty of the creation. We are concerned with the beauty of the Creator himself. Bhushana Bhushana Angam. Krishna is known as the ornament of the ornaments. So usually what happens is that you put ornaments on, or put nice clothes, and you decorate yourself, so you look better. You become more beautiful. But Krishna, he puts ornaments on to make the ornaments look better. Bhushana Bhushana Angam. And even we have now it's Kartik, so this Damodar Leela. So we sing about how the earrings of Krishna are swinging to and fro. Shark-shaped earrings. It's quite interesting because in the Gita we have chapter 10, and he says, out of fishes I'm the shark. But I've been hearing lately that it's not necessarily a shark, or his earrings are not sharks, they're more like dolphins. I don't know which one to go for. Makara is the word in Sanskrit. So it's referring more to the dolphin. And when Krishna running away from Mother Yashoda and the earrings are swinging to and fro, actually the earrings become more ecstatic because as they swing, they kiss the cheeks of Krishna and they become even more beautiful. So this is the nature of devotional service. When you get knowledge of Krishna and even seeing him as he manifests the beauty in this world, then we want to execute devotional service. We want to have a relationship with that amazing person who's so beautiful, who's so amazing. There's also mentioned in the Purports of the Bhagavatam that any beauty you see in this material world, know that to be the smile of Krishna. And the beautiful singing of birds in the morning, understand that that's the whisper of Krishna. When you see the varieties of so many birds, butterflies, and like this, their beauty, understand you're seeing Krishna's artistic sense. He's also known as Vidakta. Vidakta means one who likes to dress up and make himself look good. So you're wondering about where we get all this sense of fashion and things. That comes from Krishna. So this is the nature of Sāṅkhya. It's supposed to lead us to that point, to the root of all existence. When you break it down, then you understand, where does this all come from? Why am I so attracted? Because Krishna is involved. He's all attractive. So just by speculation alone, just by neti, not this, not this, not this, denial. And the Buddhists are doing it. The Gyanis are doing it. The impersonals are doing it. You know, this is all Maya, the material world. Get rid of, you know, I don't. Money? No, you know, like this. They were showing Prabhupada the picture of one impersonalist guru, you know, and they're giving him so much money, he's like this, you know. Prabhupada says, no, I'll be different, I'll take it all. Because they know how to use things in its real purpose. So the example is given of 3 types of people. So there's 100 rand, let's put it up, 200 rand on the floor, on the street. So the first person walks past this 200 rand, picks it up, puts it in his pocket, doesn't worry about anything, carries on with life. That's like the fruitive worker, that's the karmi. Just taking everything in this world for their own enjoyment. Then you get someone who sees the 200 rands and says, oh, you know, I don't want to have anything to do with this. It may get me in trouble. It's bad karma, you know. No. They walk past it. That's like the Jnani or the impersonalist. They don't want to engage at all with the material world. And then you get the third person who sees the 200 rand, finds the person who owns it and gives it to him. That's the devotee. They understand that actually there's no such thing as matter. Everything is actually spiritual because it all comes from the Supreme Spirit.
What is the 3 people again?
So you have the karmi, the jnani, and the devotee. Yeah. So the devotee understands how to use everything in its true nature. Oh, I forgot this verse. 424. Brahma panam banam havi brahmanam brahmanam hutam brahmavit jana gantavyam kama samadhina. That yes, so when one dedicates everything for the absolute truth, then that offering becomes of that absolute nature, the person offering it, and the thing itself. Everything becomes absorbed in the spiritual atmosphere. So in the purport to this verse, Prabhupada says that everything is actually in the Brahma Jyoti. But when it's used for sense gratification, it's considered material. But when the same thing is used for the purpose of the absolute truth, then it regains its original spiritual nature. So pretty much that's what devotional service is all about. Bhakti yoga is all about converting matter to spirit. You know, just like the iron rod into the fire. Put it in for a long time. Still an iron rod, but starts acting like fire. Same thing with the body of the spiritual master. It's not burnt. It is kept in samadhi. Spiritual master does not die. So, because it's been fully engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's spiritual by nature. So this is the way out of speculation. This is the way out of this material world. This deep-rooted desire to try and be Krishna. So we have to become a servant of Krishna. This is the ultimate goal of all ambitions. So when you hear servant, it kind of nearly sounds like you're being a slave. Just, what? Servant? You know, I was supposed to move up and now you want me to be a slave? No way. That's why this impersonalism is so attractive, you know. It's like you didn't make it in this world. And you tried your best. And then, you know, you just fell flat on your face. But now, you get this nice philosophy where you can think, oh, it's all one and I forgot I'm God. Oh, wow. You know. It's like an indirect atheism. You know, you sort of pretend that there is a God and then then it turns out you are that. So it's a very cheating philosophy in that way. It's like a ghost that sort of robs you. But um, this service, to be a servant of the Supreme Person of Godhead, is considered the ultimate goal of all ambitions. Why is that? Because the nature of the soul is to receive love and show love, and that is done through service. This is the essence of the living entity. Sanatana Dharma. Usually Dharma is translated as religion into English, but actually Dharma means the essence of something. Essence of water, it's wet. Essence of fire, it's hot. The essence of sugar is sweet. You take these things out, you can't call it sugar, fire, or water. So what's our essence? The essence of the living entity is to serve. You know, in a family, you have like children serving the parents, parents serve the children. You have a president serving the citizens. Vote for me, I will serve you. You have employees serving the boss, and the boss serving the employees. No one is free from such service dependency. It doesn't matter what religion you are, Hindu, Muslim, you can change that, but the service cannot be taken away. It stays with you forever. Even someone who wants to be out of the system, lives on the street, doesn't want to serve anyone, still their stomach will grumble and they'll have to serve their belly. So how to perfect this kind of service essence? So you may see someone who's narcissistic, right? They'll just serve themselves. It's all about me, look at me, and I use people for what I want. It's about me, about this body, yeah. You'll say they'll have a low level of life. But then someone gets a family, and they start serving their family. Higher level of life. Serve the nation, fight in the army, kill a few people and get a gold medal. Okay, a higher level of life. Someone starts serving humanity. It's a great level of life. Someone who serves all living entities, even the animals as well, gets higher. Why just this planet? Why not the whole universe? So much higher. But when we say you should serve only God, then it's like, why are you so narrow? Why limited? What about everything? It's just this mentality of like envy towards the Supreme Lord. But if we serve God, one perfects this service mentality, this service essence of ourselves. Because we have an ocean of love to give. Like I said, you can only show love by serving and not wanting anything in return. So when you serve Krishna, that's just like watering the roots of the tree. All the leaves and twigs and branches get full nourishment beyond their own capacity. Anyone who's trying to serve the leaf and twigs and branches in the form of service to humanity or the nation or even to the demigods, they will never be fulfilled. One has to serve the root of our existence, show love to. We're always trying to put our love into someone or something limited. So then you don't get the reciprocation. But if you give your love to the unlimited Supreme Lord, to Krishna, then the reciprocation is overflowing. And this mentality of service is even desired by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself. He is wondering, like, I'm the supreme enjoyer here. But then when Srimati Radharani is serving me, she enjoys 10 million times more than me. And then when she pushes another gopi who wants to serve me in a certain way and understands I'll derive so much pleasure, she gets 10 million more times more happiness than me. So what is it about me that's so amazing? He cannot do it because he's the object of being served. So then he takes the mood of Srimati Radharani and descends as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to try and taste, what is it like to serve me? What's so amazing about it? Even the Vedacharya, he's Mahavishnu and Sadashiva combined. And he would say, he was jump in ecstasy, I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya, I'm a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Even the queens of Dwarka, when Draupadi was asking them, how did you guys meet, kind of thing. How did you meet Krishna? What happened? How did you end up getting married? And they'll tell their stories, oh yes, Krishna had to wrestle 7 bulls and then get my hand, or, Rukmini said, oh, he had to kidnap me, or, Kalindi said, oh yes, I was doing austerity and he came. So there's so many, they tell all their stories, but at the end of every story they'll say, and now I am a maidservant in his palace. They just saw themselves as a servant. Same of the gopis of Vrindavan. They didn't show off and be proud, oh, we're Krishna's girlfriends, we can control him. No, they were crying out, we are your maidservants. Please be merciful unto us. This is the highest thing that we could ever think of achieving, is just to be a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what the Sāṅkhya Yoga is supposed to lead towards, that we become a dedicated loving servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is how we attain Vijnana. So Jnana means that knowledge or the theories, but Vijnana means realized knowledge. The faith you develop is actually through experience. Not just, okay, I know Krishna, that's okay. No, you have to experience Krishna in your life. Otherwise, you're just dipping your toe in the water, in the ocean of bliss. So one needs to experience Krishna in their life. And that is really easily done by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the service towards Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. This Srimad Bhagavatam will put rocket boosters into your spiritual life. If you haven't read Srimad Bhagavatam, consider yourself under the poverty line of spiritual life. Yes, it's true. This Srimad Bhagavatam was what Prabhupada brought to the West in that trunk. 3 volumes of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This cream of the Vedas, this ripened fruit of the Vedas that has no skin and easily swallowed. The shining light in this Kali Yuga, this age where it's just everyone is cheating and everyone is fighting. Put 2 people together and they'll fight. Anytime there's a crime or a murder, first people they suspect is the family and friends. Family and friends first. This is the nature of this age. What to speak of what's being handed to us online or through the news. AI is getting better and better. What are you going to believe now? People are getting scammed through this deep fake. I had there's some people cultivating in Tasmania. And she was so stressed out for a month because she has some accounts in India, and they were calling us, oh, we need you to transfer this, that, and everything. And even they did a video call, and they were using deepfake, and it was one of the main bank managers of this bank. But obviously, it looked exactly, it was everything looked real. But she said, because I never stopped my chanting in my 16 rounds, then we were able to not get scammed. Somehow Krishna saved us, and we were able to figure it out. So there's no truth anymore. People are just it's never been a time where you could see any news coverage and suspect it to be fake. That never happened before. It's only happening now. So people are dying for the truth. The absolute truth presented in Srimad Bhagavatam. This science of understanding who we are in our relationship with Krishna. So important. People are, what's really true anymore? People are even going to university and there's no certainty that they'll actually get a job. People were taking out loans and they were wondering, will I ever pay off this mortgage? So much anxiety, so much false promises given by politicians, even celebrities, whatever, whoever you have faith in. No one's getting the absolute truth. They're dying for it. We have to absorb this Srimad Bhagavatam and give it to others. So important. And why is this so potent before? Because it's, for example, Bhagavad Gita. There's been so many versions of Bhagavad Gita in English. But why Prabhupada's Gita has, as it is? Why is that made so many Krishna devotees? And not just in India, but all over the world. You're speaking about your astonishment of how is a Slovenian Balkan guy, practice chanting rounds, being vegetarian, and, practicing, my culture, like an Indian culture, better than myself. How is this possible? Because this knowledge given by Srila Prabhupada, he is carrying the spirit of Krishna through the disciplic succession. Ivam parampara praptam, ivam raja rishyo vidu, Sākalena mahata yogana saparantapa. That this knowledge or the science of Krishna has been given through the chain of disciplic succession. Just like, the mango at the top of the tree. You don't just drop it down. Pass it branch to branch. So this knowledge from Krishna has been passed through the acharyas, through the sampradaya. They don't add anything, they don't subtract anything. Prabhupada says that, they are telling, wow, so much success, so many followers, so many temples, you're changing the world. How's this possible? He says, well, this is all the mercy of my spiritual master. But if I can take any credit, it's that I didn't add anything and I didn't subtract anything. Gave it as it is. So this is the great mercy of Srila Prabhupada.
Didn't Prabhupada have a lot of propaganda he used for preaching?
That's all he did, propaganda. It was only propaganda. Yes. Prabhupada's propaganda is that we are not this material body. We're the Sambandha Gyan. We are a spirit soul going through so many bodies. And the abhideya, the way to connect, and we, as being a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we need to connect back to Him. So the abhideya is devotional service, bhakti yoga. And the main item of the devotional service is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, as propounded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the previous acharyas. It's been trialed and tested and proven. And you can test it yourself. This is the amazing thing about chanting the holy name. It will get you out of any situation. This situation is a bit shallow, but I'll tell you, it's quite funny. So we were going from, I think, Czech to Slovakia. And we were in Bratislava by train, and it was just me and one other devotee, Sundanitai. And then another devotee, Vishnujan, he says, okay, I'll meet you at the temple or, at the restaurant or something like that. You just take the bus into town. So then we kind of saw the machine for buying a ticket for the bus, but we didn't do it. So then we sat in the bus, and the bus starts going. And then some huge guys who are like ticket inspectors, giants, literally like huge. And they start checking tickets. And then they check Sundanitais. He's like, oh no, I'm, we're from overseas, like this, It didn't work. So he's like, okay, get off, like this. And I didn't have my passport either. It was with Vishnujan. So I gave my driver's license from Australia, and they took his passport, and they're holding, and they say, okay, 50 euros, 50 euro fine now, like this. And we're like, no, we don't have money, no, like this. So then Itai, he starts faking, like, they sort of grab him a bit, and he's like, help, help. And he's trying to explain to locals, like, we don't know, we just came, this and that. We didn't know where the ticket machine was. And it's not working. So then he starts faking like a panic attack, so like this, I don't know, what's going on? And then he goes, okay, these guys go, okay, police, we call police now. And I was thinking, okay, they're gonna call police. I don't even have my passport. We're done, And we had some instruments with us, and I told him, okay, let's chant. And he was chanting like japa on the beats. And as I just pulled kata, start singing, Hare Krishna, Krishna, like this, And then there's ticket inspectors, they're just like, and they're like this, and they're walking up and down, and they're sort of like slapping each other and sort of literally laughing, like what's going on? And then all of a sudden, like, we're still chanting, and they give my license back, they give his passport back, and they start walking away. And I still don't know what's happening, so I just keep chanting until like they're completely gone. And I just chanted for like another like 15 minutes, and they're nowhere to be seen. And then we're like, what do we do? So then we walked to the restaurant, and everything was okay. And we're like, oh, okay, this chanting worked, So I don't know what happened, but I don't know what they thought, but chanting worked. It got me out of the situation. Yes.
Actually, this chanting, what we do is, some people may not understand it in the language, the word which we are using. But that music, that essence, actually, that's a global thing, or I would say it's a universal thing. So everyone understands that when you do it. And along with that, sometime our clothing, like this, what is the right Hindi color for this? So this actually get those people identify that they are the one who are actually taking this to the world, and they should not be stopped.
Well, they didn't know anything about Hare Krishna.
No, that music which is there in this chanting, that is what is a universally understood thing. That's what I feel, because I travel a lot, and I've also seen this when this music is there related to Sri Krishna. People understand it automatically. Any language. I've seen this with Philippines. I've seen this with Germans. I've seen this with some Russians as well. I've seen this very much easily in Japanese also. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I guess it's speaking to the soul. Huh? Yes, so this is the nature that the soul needs, because Nityasira Krishna Prema Sabakaranoi Shravanadi Sudachete Koryadoy, that the living entity is originally has Krishna Prema inside. It just needs to be awakened by Shravanadi, by hearing and what follows hearing, chanting. And this is the only way to be delivered in Kali Yuga. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva gati nyata. There's no other way. And this is the way to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the Yagya Purush of Kali Yuga. Yagyai Sankirtana Pray, Janti Hi Sumirisa. Those who have intelligence, they worship the Supreme Lord who hasn't come in a blackish form. Krishna Varanam Tusa Krishna. He's always murmuring Krishna's name. And he's appeared with his weapons and associates. What's his weapon? His beauty. And his associates, the Panchatattva. Si panchatattva mili prithviya siya puva prema bandhileda buddha leda. Panchaleda luta prema kara ashradana yati yata priya Krishna bana anikshan. That the treasure house of love of God, that qualities of Krishna, that was like a treasure house. It was sealed when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago. But by the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Panchatattva, they broke open that seal, plundered its contents, and the more they drank that love of God, their thirst for it grew. Puna puna pahaya mata hasagaya maramata. That the Panchatattva, they would dance and sing, and it made it easier to drink that nectarian love of Godhead. In this way, they laughed, cried, sang, and danced just like madmen. This is how they distributed love of God. And this is the instruction, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed how to be a devotee by following his spiritual master. Ishvara Puri instructed him, Nachgo Bhakta Sanghe Korashakita Krishna Nama Upadeshi Tavasavaja. That you just sing and dance in the association of devotees. Teach others Krishna Nama Upadesh, the instructions, the importance of Krishna Nama. And in this way, you'll deliver all the conditioned souls. So the reason why not only are we just going out and giving the holy name, but also distributing this literature, is that so they can understand why we should chant Hare Krishna, why it's so important. Because, unfortunately, Nivashesha Sunyavadi has taken over the whole world. Yes, impersonalism, voidism, Mayavad has inundated the whole West, or wherever the British were. So, as a servant of Saraswati Thakur, Namaste Saraswati Deva, he's giving Gauravani Pracharine, the instruction of Lord Gauranga, through Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is uprooting all that impersonal within your heart, the desire to try and be God, uprooting it right away. And ultimately, Bhagavatam, the conclusion or its revelation at every page, as told by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Vyakta Kara Bhagavate Kara Bara Bara Kali Yugadama Nama Sankirtana Sara. That the Bhagavatam is revealing again and again that the essence of Dharma and Kali Yuga is Nam Sankirtan. So we can see where hearing the pastimes of Lord Kapila Deva is supposed to take us. And that was confirmed by Devahuti. Aho bhata swapachokarya yachjivike vitata namatuvam tapas tapis. Shashu arya ramanichu namagranti yindiyate. That Devahuti was saying, oh, how glorious are those who have the holy name on the tips of their tongue, even though they're born in the family of chandalas, dog eaters. By chanting the holy name, it means they've been to all the holy places, executed all the austerities, studied all the scriptures, did everything required, even having the behavior of Aryans. This is the power of the holy name. Can uplift anyone, doesn't matter who you are. We've seen so many examples of this. Prabhupada demonstrated. He didn't even tell them the four regulative principles. He told them just chant, take prasadam. And they became purified. Now they're our gurus. Now we are falling at their feet. They are the saints of the modern age. Just by the chanting of the holy name, given through disciplic succession. So I'll stop here. We can have some more comments or discussion. And you can say it into this mic so it catch on the recording. Yes, Mataji. You can hold this in your hand. Just hold it in your hand.
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you
Just
so
hold it.
much for the
Yeah, it's okay.
class. Am I holding it right? I just wanted to ask, so you mentioned just now about the chanting of the holy names removes the impersonalism in the heart. So how can you know that there is impersonalism in the heart?
We know that there's impersonalism in our hearts when the opportunity to serve comes and we don't take it. So that's usually the manifestation of impersonalism, that we have opportunities to be connected and serve Krishna and then we don't take it. So that's kind of how it manifests. Chanting is so powerful that we don't really need to sort of psychoanalysis ourselves, like, okay, I have a bit of greed here, a bit of anger here. You know, it just wipes it out completely. This is the power of the Sankirtan movement. There used to be ways of doing that previously through Varnashram and the Vedic culture. And my spiritual master described Varnashram as the hammer of the goldsmith. So like, it's a small hammer, and then because the gold is very soft, you just tap it into place. It'll start. So following the prescribed duties of Varnashram, it's like a gradual process. But with the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya, it's like the hammer of the sledgehammer of the blacksmith. Just one boom, and it's in place, like this. So sometimes it's nearly shocking that I remember after doing Harinam every day for a year with Harinam Ruchi, I saw myself in a situation that I'd be very envious. I remember before I was a very jealous and envious person. And then when I was in a situation where I was like, oh, I'm going to get so envious here. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm not. Where did that feeling go? Man, I was so used to it. So in this way, whatever impurities are in our heart, I guess we can be conscious of them, and it makes it easy to cry out to Krishna to help us overcome it. But impersonalism, as a practicing devotee, usually manifests as when there's an opportunity to serve and we don't do it. We make some excuse or is that okay? It's
yes,
fine.
thank you.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then the other part of that is how do you make sure, how do you make sure that you don't over endeavor, take on too many things and then you don't finish
Sure.
it and so on.
Yeah, that's the other side. So sometimes we, especially in the temple environment, it's if you're the yes man, then you get all the service, right? Because like for a manager, it's like, okay, we just got to get stuff done, and here's my yes man and do everything. Abhimanyu is always running around doing service. But yes, the idea is that it is a marathon, and the way to protect oneself is to communicate with our authorities. Because my spiritual master will speak about juggling 3 balls. So the 3 balls are your personal, mental and physical health, your sadhana, and the mission. So as you're juggling, you throw 1 ball in the air and you're focusing on that, right? So, sometimes you need to focus on your physical and mental health. Okay, this is what I'm focusing on now. Sometimes on your sadhana, sometimes the mission. And that's our situation. Then he gives another idea of 3 concentric circles, like 1, and then a bigger one, and a bigger one. So the one in the middle is the comfort zone. So if you're there too much, you end up becoming lazy. The second circle is like the stretching zone. So this is where you make advancement. This is when you even expand your comfort zone. It's a good place to be. But if you're there for too long, then you end up in the pain zone. So if you're in the pain zone, you definitely can't be there for too long, and that's when you burn out and you're forced to go back to the comfort zone. So we have to communicate with our authorities. If we're stretching in a situation where our physical and mental health is being threatened, then we have to communicate. Sorry, I'm too tired. Or you don't have to say yes. If you're already engaged in something, you can let them know, sorry, I'm already engaged in this service. Please ask someone else. You have to communicate. We sort of feel like, no, you feel guilty, someone asked us and we're already engaged. Oh, no, but I'm already doing this. No, you can tell them, and if the more you communicate, they can help manage your situation and say, okay, I understand that you need rest on this day or this moment, or you kind of have to communicate if your health is going down. So it's on us to actually communicate with the managers of our sadhana situation, our health situation. In this way, then they can understand. They're not mind readers. So, because for them it's like, okay, so many services, let's get them done. And they don't know what you're going through, so you have to let them know. Is that okay? Yeah, it's very practical. Thank you so much for the question. Anyone else? Otherwise, we'll
I have a question for you. In terms of service and like adopting a service attitude, some people think that being a servant is low class. So when a devotee moves into the temple and trying to live this new lifestyle, what's some practical tips for them to progress as well as not feel like they are a lower class person? So to not feel like they have a projection of what a servant is, and at the same time they want to progress. So what advice do you have for someone like that?
Yeah, sometimes you feel like when you come to this movement, you climb the corporate ladder of ISKCON or something. So okay, now I am Bhakta so and so, and then then you get initiated. Now you're a Das. Okay, good. Prabhu's initiated. Then you get second initiation. You walk around with your thread. Hey Prabhuji. And then okay, then maybe you become some sort of manager, DD department, or pujari. Okay, and then you become temple president. Oh yeah, now you're working magic. And then you become a GBC, you like that. And then even better, become a guru, and you claim. Sometimes there's this kind of approach, obviously, and obviously it's a materialistic approach. And the idea is to, in spiritual life, it's very different. The more advanced you are, is the more you think yourself a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, a million times removed. And this is the mentality of actually Srimati Radharani. That's why we say Hare Krishna. The mentality of Srimati Radharani is that when we call out to her and we have a desire to serve Krishna, she thinks, oh Krishna, this person is better than me. Please give him your mercy. So our way of becoming, say, better in as a devotee is actually by getting blessings of the other devotees. And that is simply done by serving them. And also you give up like sort of this nearly envious or competitive nature towards them. I'll explain my own situation. Because I saw how this philosophy worked. So you may know Braj Krishna Prabhu. Yes, from here. Yes. So he came to Melbourne the first time, and I was a new devotee. And he was like this amazing kirtaniya. He was like shining, and he gave like the amazing classes. And everyone was so inspired by him, and I was jealous. I was like, this guy's too much, you know. He's good, but not that good, you know. I'll play it down like this. But then I understood, no, this is the wrong feeling. You know, I should be happy that he's inspiring and, you know, he's an amazing devotee. And he would spend like a month in Melbourne. He'll do like nearly a home program every day. On the weekend, he'd do like 10 or 12 on the weekend. He was just going all out and he was just inspiring everyone. And I was like, how do I get rid of this feeling? He's like an amazing person, but I have this terrible feeling in my heart. So then I remember hearing about someone saying like, so envy or jealousy is actually indirect appreciation. Someone has something that you want and you really admire. And they say if you see someone like that, then you should serve them. I was like, all right, let's try out this theory then. So then every time he had like clothes hanging, I would fold it up for him. Like I wouldn't tell him about it. Or like, you know, open a door for him. Like small things like this, you know, if there was a lamp, okay, I'll take it out to everyone. And then after like that month, then that feeling would disappear, and I had so much happiness for him, and you know, I really embraced him as a devotee, as like, you know, I had good feelings now. And then now I'm coming to like, you know, his yatra. And I'm doing Parha Kirtans, and I'm also giving, you know, good class, so, you know, okay classes. And people spit, like, you know, I come to like where he was preaching, and even to Bulgaria, and they're treating me like how everyone in Melbourne is treating him. So when you see a devotee have like great qualities, or even if they're in you know, sometimes you want to be manager or something like that, you serve that person, and then you get those qualities. But if you're gonna like criticize the person, or even try and sabotage that person, you get all the faults that you think you see in that person. That's how it works. That's the science behind it. So our advancement in Krishna consciousness is not just us doing so much stuff, but actually gaining the blessings of the devotees. I'll end on this point, and it has happened in Vrindavan. So it was on Srila Prabhupada's disappearance, and my spiritual master was the temple president. And they would have many of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers come and speak about Prabhupada. And I think it was, what was it, Puri Maharaj? I think it was Puri Maharaj. And he was very old. And he would speak every year. And he came. He was in his 90s. And he said, your Srila Prabhupada, they would call him Swami Maharaj. Swami Maharaj has made you all Vaishnavas. And because you're all Vaishnavas, you please bless me. And that was it. That was the talk. So he understood that he can only make it back to Godhead with the blessings of the Vaishnavas, of the devotees. And all devotees have a gift that's unique to them, that you don't have. So we need to have this mood of being the servant of the servant of the servant. It's imperative. It's for advancement in Krishna consciousness. It's okay? Thank you so much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.